Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do the mini stockings. So for the mini stockings, this is all the materials that you're going to need. You're going to need red yarn, white yarn, some scissors, some yarn needle, and the hook. The hook, the size is going to be different depending on the yarn that you use. You need to follow those guidance. In this case for me, maybe on the camera you don't see it, but they are quite thin, these yarns, so I'm using a 3mm. In other type of yarns, a little bit thicker. Remember that I always say that normally it will be kind of like a 4, but let's start with our slip knot. You might remember I already shared in my course for absolute beginners the slip knot step by step in a slow motion. Here, as you can see, I'm doing a little bit faster than usual just because we're supposed to know how we do it. Same like the chains. So how are we going to start? We're going to start with 36 chains, okay? You're going to chain 36, and once we reach our 36 chains, we are going to chain 2 extra chains. Why? Because that 2 extra chains is going to be our UK double crochet or our US single crochet, the first one, okay? That's how we're going to start the row, with those 2 extra ones. So what are you going to do is, you're going to, from the hook, jump the first 3 stitches, and you're going to start working on the 4th stitch. That's how you create the first stitch, okay? Be really careful with that. Once you start this row, this foundation chain, you're going to finish with 36, and I need you to count to make sure you are correct. Okay, but let's do our first stitch. Remember, it was like you introduce your hook over this chain. You yarn over, pull through, you have 2 loops, you yarn over again and pull through both of them. And again, this is the UK double crochet and the US single crochet. We are going to do it through the entire chain foundation. And again, once you've finished, count really well. You will need 36. It might sound silly. You might be like, oh, it's not really important. It is, and you will know now why as we move along in our project, because we're going to start dividing the project in half. All right, once you reach the end of your project, you're going to chain 2. You're going to flip your project like a book, and you're going to start working not on that first chain but on the second, and you're going to continue doing the same stitches, okay? These same stitches are gonna create the foundation, let's say the fit size of our booty, okay? That's what we are doing right now. And later on, once we create that first rows, that first foundation of our mini stocking or booty, or however you want to call it, we're gonna create what will be the hive, okay? I need you to do this for 6 rows. So I need 6 rows of 36 stitches. What you're gonna do then, you're gonna chain 2, you're gonna flip over, and we're gonna start with our decrease. How you're gonna start your decrease is, you're gonna introduce your hook on that first stitch like if you were about to do a stitch, but rather than yarn over and pull through like that, like usual, no. We're gonna go through the next stitch. So we're gonna put 3 yarns on our hook. We're gonna yarn over and we're gonna pull through. There you go, your first decrease. That, by the way, actually it is called a double crochet 2 together or in the UK, and a single crochet 2 together on the US. What you're gonna do now, you're gonna do the rest of the stitches as usual. You're gonna do all the stitches the same until you have 3 stitches left on your row. When you finish this row, you're gonna end up having 34 stitches. And that is how you have reduced 2 stitches on each side. Now, what we are going to do next, that will be your question after we count it and we make sure that we have made the enough stitches. Again, when you arrive at the end, you yarn over, you're going to pull through that first stitch. So you pull the yarn, okay? That's why you need 3. Look at it this now, be really careful, okay? So you introduce your hook, in which will be the 3rd from the end, yarn over, you go to the next stitch and you introduce your hook once more. There you go, your 3 stitches on your hook. You yarn over, pull through 3 of them, and then you're gonna go to the last stitch, yarn over, and you're gonna pull through and do a normal stitch, and that's how you're going to close your project. You do not use that last stitch to decrease. The decrease has to be done before that stitch. Okay, right now we should have 34 stitches on our first decrease row. Now you're gonna chain 2, flip over your project, and you're gonna repeat the same again for 1 more row, which means by the end of this row you should end up with 32 stitches, and that will be our last row of the, let's call it the feet area of our stocking. Okay, so you have reduced twice. That's why also you create that curve for the foot, which is really cute and nice, rather than make it more of like a square. The decrease will help you with that. And as I say, you repeat the same when you arrive in the end. You stop at 3 stitches, you do your decrease, and then you do your last stitch at the end where you normally do your chains. Right now what you're going to do is, now that you are absolutely done, sometimes your yarn will move a little bit and don't be really straight, but as soon as you start pulling it, and later on once we stitch it, it will be better. So now we have to create the rest of the boot. Okay, what we're gonna do is you're gonna chain 1 to kind of create a lock in there, and you're gonna cut off your yarn. Okay, there we go, and that's how we finish and seal the bottom bit of our stocking. There we go, you pull it tight so you make sure it's absolutely locked. Fine. Now we are going to start on the 7th stitch, so you're gonna count 6 stitches from the beginning, and on the 7th is where you're going to start creating the higher bit of your boot. What this means is you're gonna leave 6 stitches on each side, and you're gonna work on 20 stitches on the center. How I like to add my yarn to my projects is like I pull it like if I was doing a chain, then I do a knot. You don't have to leave a really long tail, because the longer you leave it, the harder it's gonna be to hide it. Actually, I'm gonna show you now also how to hide it. I like to do a knot really tight to secure that yarn, and then you're gonna introduce your hook again. You're gonna pull it, and then it's like how you were before. Okay, like if you were on the last stitch from before. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna chain 2, and we're gonna start working on the next 20 stitches. Okay, we're gonna do the same stitches that we have done before, and we're gonna do this for 10 rows. So you're gonna do 20 stitches, you're gonna make sure you have 6 stitches left on one side, you're gonna chain 2, flipped over, and again do another 20 stitches, and then so on until you reach 10 rows. And I'm gonna meet you on those 10 rows, and I'm gonna show it to you how to chain different colors, and how and then I'm gonna show you how to change from one color to another, and then we're gonna do the top part, the white part of our stocking before we close it down. So do your 10 rows, is the same like before, just in the first row is where you have to be careful to make sure, as I said, that there are 6 stitches on each side, but for the rest is easy peasy because we have done it already. And I'll meet you in a minute with next color, which is gonna be the white one. Okay, so here comes the time to add the white one. So what we are gonna do is you're gonna introduce your hook on that last stitch, and we're gonna do the same that we did before when we adjust the red one in the middle of the project, remember? Sorry, for some reason I lose a little bit of focus here. Sometimes it's hard to see what I'm doing when I have the camera in front of me, so I get a little bit out of the angle, but you do the same that I did with the red, okay? And then you chain 2, and we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna start doing the same stitches that we've done before. The difference this time is that you are gonna make only 4 rows. Only if you wanna leave it how it is on the first picture that you saw, okay? If you would like to have a mini stocking or a booty that has a flipped white part, okay, you know, when it's like folded, you're gonna have to make 8 rows. But if you want to just leave it all flat, nothing there, like turned around and whatever, do only 4 rows of these stitches, and then it's exactly the same like we did all the project with the red one, okay? You're gonna do the same stitches. You're gonna, in this case, have 20 stitches. You're gonna arrive to the end of the row. You're gonna chain 2 and then work again over your next row. And as I say, 4 rows if you want a flat stocking, 8 rows if you would like to flip over the white beads and do like these, some of the stockings that we get for the chimneys and everything that has that flip bead over there. I'll see you in a minute once it's all done, and I'm gonna show you how to close the project down. Okay, so we have finished with all of our rows, and just to make you aware, we need to fold the right side of the project to the front. So if you see this, so over here you can see the stitches are way more visible than over here. So this will be kind of like the nice side to see. I know I always say whatever is your tail, that's your right side, and then so let's say this will be our front bit, but as you can see there, doesn't look that pretty. So I'm just going to close it up, you know, so it will go like that. To close it down, what we're gonna do is, it's not gonna be easy because we are working on the chain area, okay? You're gonna go from one side to another, from one stitch to another. Try to take the same stitches so you make sure that your booty is getting close, straight, and there's not gonna be bump areas because you jump some sort of stitch and then you have like a hole, or you jump stitches and it doesn't match one side with another. As well, this project is just a decorative thing. If you were to do this for somebody or do this in a bigger size for your chimney and you're gonna put things inside, I suggest you that you take this step, take your time, and you make sure that every single stitch is connected one another, so there won't be no gaps in between. So that means there are no spaces where anything that you put inside could fall out. You can sew this, yes, but it will look different, and I found it's easier and more secure when you do it this way. But it's entirely up to you. If you wanted to sew it, I'm sure you know how to sew, so you will just sew it the same way. The only difference is that rather than doing it with a normal thread, you're doing it with a yarn. But the process of sewing is absolutely the same. Otherwise, you can see I struggle a little bit because, as I said, we're working on the chains and it's not really easy. And I will always suggest, if you found it extremely hard, by the way, we are doing the slip knot if you didn't realize it, on the white bit, okay? If you found it really hard, I'll suggest you use a smaller hook. So using a smaller hook means the hole is bigger than the hook and it's gonna let you pass through it a little bit easier. So that's another trick that I can suggest you as well, and I hope that helps on the purpose of closing the white bead. And let's move along and see how we're going to close the red bead. Okay, so I finished connecting that bead, as you can see. So you're going to keep the reds away, okay? You're going to yarn over this one, and then you're gonna cut it and then pull it, and then you secure the end. And there we go. So we finished with the white that's in there. You pull it and then like that. Sometimes I even like to knot this together, and then now we're gonna hide it. This is not a stocking that is gonna be worn, so you don't have to worry about being perfect. What I mean is like nobody's gonna use it, right? So it is not something that you need to make sure it's nice and comfy. It's just more like a decorative thing. So that is why. So now there are two options. You can either ignore absolutely this, or take the regular yarn and then move along. I don't want to ignore this. I'm gonna take advantage of this, and if it fits with this, I'm actually gonna connect them and move along. So what you're gonna do is, if you don't have anything like this, you're going to come and you're going to insert your yarn again and then move along. So you will come over here to the highest of your red stitches, okay, and then you will pass this along and then keep going, because I already have this one over here, but it's on the wrong side. Like, I'm just going to do that, which is go there and go there, which is the first stitch that connect the red with white. I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna pull it so I have it with me, like if I put the yarn. Make sense? Okay. You can forget about the white one. I know it's on the way and it's kind of bothering and confusing, but you know what I've done now, right? If you did not leave a long rope, let's say you leave something like this, you will have to move that aside, or you can even hide it while you start moving here. But as you can see, I left a long yarn in both sides, so we don't need this anymore. All right. And what we are gonna do now is, you don't have to 100% go in all of them, but you want to make sure, one, that is in line, and two, that you get every single stitch, and then you're basically going to do this. If you're worried that one side will move more than another or something like that, you can always hold the bits together, as I mentioned in other videos. So you will come with your stitches, and let's say you will take both of the corners, so you will put that in there and secure that corner. You will put this one, found the other corner, so again, which was our chains before, you come here, you come there, so you're kind of securing that in there and making sure. You can even put one more over here. So let's say you put one more over there exactly on the curve, and right now both of your sides are together. Now you just have to move along, and don't be worried that it might move and you will end up with one side bigger than another. But as you can see, we're doing a regular stitch, so it's kind of gonna be easy if you have to go back and remove it, and then you just have to go through them. It's not easy because obviously these are the chains. The chains are not meant to be like used anymore, so it's not gonna be for you that simple to just go in and put your hook. Just try your best, try to don't damage at all those chains, because obviously we don't want to have to worry about them too much. So right now, as you can see, I'm running really low on yarn, so I'm gonna take advantage of that in this video, and I'm gonna show you how to connect yarns when this happens to you. So you will take a new yarn, you're gonna put it here, okay, and then you're gonna do a knot. You need to do a double knot, okay? So you're gonna do one over here. Sometimes it's better if you do it when it's a little bit longer, okay? So you will do one knot over there. Try to don't leave it really long, because you're gonna see now what we have to do. Okay, you do that one there, and then you come here, and then you do it again, okay? You do it twice, so you're doing 2 knots over there. Okay, so you do like that, you pull it, so you secure 2 ends. Can you see now what I've done? I've done 2 ends. All right, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull them together, and then when you pull now, it should just tangle together, then you have it. What I'm gonna suggest is, first you make sure this is really tight together, and then you chop that so you don't see that on your project, and then you come back here there was my stitch. So now I can come back and just continue working. So if I come here, this was my next stitch. I'm just gonna go there and do it. So here we are done with our body. You could just keep it like this, and maybe your idea is you're gonna put it on like a multiple row with different ornaments that I'm gonna be teaching you in the next few days. That's an option. Or maybe you want to do like my intention when I create this pattern, one, to show you, but two, to use it as decoration for my Christmas tree. So what I'm gonna teach you now, which again is entirely optional, you can just leave it like this and you will be done. We are gonna make a chain here to be the hook that will go in the Christmas tree or anywhere around the house for decoration. That's option one. And then you can also do option two, which will be over here. We're gonna put the decorative details of some pom-poms just to make it different. But then again, as I say, you saw how easily it was, and it is absolutely done. All right, so you could just end the video over here, which again, if you do, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. And if not, let's go for the last two steps. So what you're gonna do now is we are gonna introduce the yarn like we have done through the entire project. I hope it was absolutely clear. If not, here you have it one more time. We just make a knot. Those is gonna be really easy to hide it later, okay? Don't worry about that. You're gonna go inside the same stitch, pull it through like you have already there your first chain in your hook, and you are going to chain 20, okay? I won't suggest you, because this is a miniature one, can you do the chain longer, which is gonna be a hook, and like that's kind of falling more? Yes, but I think this is already big enough. Can you do it smaller as well? Yes. Maybe what you could do is do your 20 chains, see how it looks, and then you can consider, depends where you're gonna put it, how to do it. I'm so sorry, but for some reason my white yarn was absolutely and completely tangled this day, and as you can see, it was just not helping at all because I couldn't do anything because it wouldn't roll. So yeah, 20 chains, and then you're gonna go back to that first chain that we've done. Make sure the chains are straight, okay, before you do this step. You're gonna put it again on the same stitch where you started. You're gonna do a slip knot. You can do one more chain just to kind of like now make the knot. Otherwise, you can just pull your yarn, cut it off, and you will be done. And I always suggest that you take the first tail and the last tail, you do a knot, and then you secure that chain. Because at the end of the day, you need to remember that this hook chain is absolutely out of our project. It doesn't really belong inside our project. So could it fall? Yes, and we don't want that, especially if this is like a gift for somebody, okay? If it's for us, fine, we could always find a way to fix it, but we always have to prepare projects thinking, what if I was to give it to somebody? What could happen? All right, so this will be step one of what you could do. Step two will be do the pom-pom. So what I like to do is go there, like the last stitch there in the corner, what will be the center of our folding area. Then again, one more, you're gonna take your yarn and you're gonna proceed on the same way that we've done all of this time. The pom-poms are both the same. The only thing that I have to say is one is gonna look longer than another one. So the chains that we're gonna start doing now and everything, that's the only difference gonna be. So like that, they are gonna create this effect of one falling longer than another, okay? So we start the same way that we've done all the time, and then we're gonna start chaining, okay? We're gonna first chain 6. So one, okay, so we are going to chain 6. After we chain 6, we have to make a puff stitch. That's gonna be the pom-pom twice. We're gonna do 2 puff stitches, we're gonna close them together, and that's gonna be our pom-pom. What we have to do is we have to create an amount of stitches on our hook in order to create the puff stitch, which again, you're welcome, I'm teaching you an extra stitch that I haven't taught you until now, which is you're gonna yarn over, put your yarn through that first stitch that we are working on, which is the third one from your hook, and then you are going to yarn over, pass through 2, yarn over again, and then you insert it one more time on that stitch, and then you pull through, you pass through 2, and you're gonna repeat that process as you can see in the video, and I'm explaining to you right now, until you have 4 loops on your hook. Once that happens, you're gonna yarn over and you're gonna pass it through 4 of them. There you go, the puff stitch. Then you're gonna chain 1 to secure that puff stitch, and that is when we are going to chain 3 and create another puff stitch. As I say, that it's gonna be the puff stitch that is gonna stay on top of the other one to create the effect of a circle ball. Okay, so you're gonna go on top of that chain that you create to close the first puff stitch, and you're gonna repeat the same process that of what you did before, okay, which is create all of those stitches until you have 4 stitches in your hook, and you're gonna pull through, and there you have your second puff stitch. And now I'm gonna show you really quickly and easily how to connect them to put one pom-pom with another and create the beautiful circle. And we're gonna repeat this twice. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the last stitch on the bottom of the first pom-pom of the first puff stitch over there. You're gonna slip stitch over there, and then you're connecting one side with another. At the beginning it looks really weird, but you're going to connect it that way. You can go through any other stitches. Sorry, my hands are all fungal again. I don't know what happened to this day, but it seems like I couldn't keep them in place. But go through a couple of stitches to make sure you connect one piece with another. You don't have to fully sew it, honestly. It's just a way to make sure they are connected. And then now, once you cut your yarn, make another stitch, one chain to secure that. And I'll suggest you put your hook through the center of both of the puff stitches. You pull that yarn, and then you're kind of looking again the end of your tail again. If you leave it really short, let's say that tail will stay inside the pom-pom, but in this case mine was a little bit longer, so that did not happen. But as you can see, I just play around and pull it away. Okay, now we need to create the second pom-pom. So the second pom-pom, how we're gonna do it is, rather than chain 6 like at the beginning, this time we are gonna do the same process all over again, which I don't want to bore you about it, but you're gonna start by chaining 9. So I'm gonna let you do it. Go back in these last few minutes when I have shown you how to do it, and then do it again. But remember, this time we're gonna chain 9, because right now how I'm gonna show it to you in the video, it might be too quick for yourself. So if you needed to hear it in a slower pace and see it in a slower mode, go and watch how we did the first pom-pom, and I'll see you once everything is absolutely finished with this cute mini stocking. So there you have it. As you can see, the pom-poms here. This one here, I'm just going to sew that in, so I'm gonna hide that back, but that's it. It is ready. If you wanted to do this one and be able to fold it, the only thing you will have to do is add 4 more rows to this one, and those extra 4 rows will be what you will fold in it. And by any means, you can add more details, change colors, do something else. I wanted to keep it simple and traditional over there, but there you have it. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and to come back on the next one with another really simple project to create little gifts for these upcoming holidays.